What do you see in the mirror? Who are you when no one's looking? Today's video is titled, The Concept of Self. Welcome, dear viewers. This is the power of mind. In Buddhism, the concept of self is explored through the doctrine of no self, or enigma, which posits that there is no permanent, unchanging essence or soul, and that the self is a collection of constantly changing, interconnected elements. Carl Jung, a Swiss psychiatrist, founded analytical psychology, also known as Jungian psychology, which explores the human psyche and behavior, focusing on the relationship between the individual's unconscious and the collective unconscious, and emphasizes individuation and the integration of conscious with the unconscious aspects of the personality. At its fundamental level, Jungian psychotherapy, also referred to as Jungian analysis, is a thorough analytical approach to talk therapy that seeks to bring balance and union between the conscious and unconscious parts of the mind. In Jungian psychology, the self archetype represents the unified totality of the psyche, encompassing both conscious and unconscious aspects, and striving for wholeness through the process of individuation. Here's a more detailed breakdown of the terms and ideas. The self's primary goal is wholeness or individuation, which is the process of integrating all aspects of the personality, both conscious and unconscious. Jung often symbolized the self with a circle, square, or mandala, representing totality and wholeness. What is the relationship between the self and ego, you may be asking? The ego is a part of the self, but the self is broader and encompasses the entire psyche. The self has a forward-looking, teleological function, meaning it is always striving towards greater wholeness and fulfillment. What is individuation? Do you know? Don't feel bad if you don't know. Most people have never heard this word before. The process of individuation involves bringing unconscious aspects of the personality into awareness and integrating them with the conscious ego, leading to a more complete and authentic self. Archetype. The self is considered an archetype, a universal inherited pattern of behavior and imagery that shapes human experience. In Carl Jung's psychology, the shadow refers to the unconscious, repressed aspects of our personality, encompassing both negative and positive traits that we deem unacceptable or undesirable, often leading to projection onto others. Here's a more detailed explanation. What is the importance or even the purpose of integration, you may be wondering? Jung believed that integrating the shadow into consciousness is crucial for personal growth and wholeness, a process known as individuation. Shadow work. Confronting and understanding the shadow can lead to self-awareness, personal transformation, and a more balanced and authentic self. Examples of shadow are jealousy, aggression, fear of failure, and even suppressed creativity is a part of the shadow. Nikaya is the term Carl Jung used to describe the descent into darkness where the ego fades. The shadow is not solely a repository of negative traits. It can also contain potential strengths and talents that are repressed. The shadow is often contrasted with the persona, which is the conscious social mask we present to the world. In astrology, your rising sign, also known as the ascendant, represents your outward persona and the first impression you make on others. A person's sun sign reflects or details their core identity and motivations. This brings us to genetic memory. Key concepts, archetypes. These are universal inherited patterns of thought, behavior, and imagery that manifest in dreams, myths, and fairy tales. Examples include the hero, the mother, the shadow, and the anima animus. Personal unconscious. This is the layer of the unconscious that contains personal experiences, memories, and repressed thoughts that are unique to each individual. This brings us to genetic memory. Key concepts, archetypes. These are universal inherited patterns of thought, behavior, and imagery that manifest in dreams, myths, and fairy tales. Examples include the hero, the mother, the shadow, and the anima animus. Personal unconscious. This is the layer of the unconscious that contains personal experiences, memories, and repressed thoughts that are unique to each individual. I am not speaking on the validity of family in regards to adoption or marriage. I am addressing genetically inherited memory that stems from the DNA and manifests in the individual. This is not a nature versus nurture conversation. This is not a debate. We are not arguing over methodologies of expression. Nope, not at all. Genetic memories are more accurately described as a shared dream, the play of life where the cast members act out their parts on the stage based on ancestry. Why is this? What does that say about us, about reality? Keep in mind that I am not speaking of causation, as if the alignment of the stars causes these things to occur. Not at all. I am speaking of correspondence. How is it and why is it that these things are always aligned? The rain doesn't come just because I take an umbrella. The news is wrong about the weather all the time. All zodiac signs seem to be exactly aligned with their element. The way a person dies is always in alignment with their zodiacal chart. Always. I'm just asking why. Not because I know it all, but because I'm curious and want to know more. Maybe you have similar questions. Maybe you want to know why the sky is blue more often than not. Why water is wet most of the time? Does tomorrow ever really come, or am I just stuck in the present? Did I just imagine yesterday? The ability to question is a gift from the Creator. This is the power of mind.